Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SB Reviews where today we're going to be checking out a track from an ex named Ado titled Roll. And if we switch over to here, this is the second weekly SB Reviews I've done. This is a song that's been recommended to me from Peter C. There I've got the comment on the screen here. I'm doing these sort of like these like weekly requests is like weekly videos up until Christmas, and so if you haven't sort of like submitted a song you'd like checked out as part of a video, feel free to follow the link in the description there so you can comment on that. We'll be doing these every Friday, my tracks that I like every Monday, and I'll be doing some of yours on a weekly basis every Friday. New Zealand time, week Thursday for most people I think, but we're going to listen through this track from start till finish and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go, let's do it. Interesting chord progression off the bat. Very cool response. So like when I was in Japan, this is actually a really happy thing for me. So I went to Japan last year and they kept playing this when I was in that big square that people always take like the videos of in like Japan, you know, the big square. And I want to go back there again and do that. But they played this song over and over and over and I never checked it out. So it's kind of full circle, isn't it? Great parallel major before that. Halftime with the cicada clips.
Sayonara, sayonara, sayonara.
Dude, that was phenomenal. That was such a cool song. I'm so thanks to Peter for recommending that. We're going to listen through. We're going to talk. We're going to talk about this track more in the conclusion. And so, welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named Ado, titled "Roll." Now, first of all, what do we think this track is about? I think this track is about someone who's just so thoroughly sick and tired of someone telling them how to live their life, and I feel an immense joy right now. I think I really need to go back to Japan at some point. and check it out. I kind of miss it. It reminds me of a time in my life where stuff was just a whole lot less stressful. And I think now with life as it is, I'll try not to talk about it too much, but I feel just this song, what it means to me is quite a bit. And it's more than I expected going into it. But it is about someone saying that they're just so sick of having their life judged, and they just tell them to go off. Basically, they're saying sayonara, goodbye. You know, your authority means nothing to me. And I can imagine for Ado, maybe as a musician, or as a person, they've been told by people how to live or how to do things or how to act, etc. And they just want to do their own thing. And quite honestly, given the immense success that they've had as a musician, I wouldn't be surprised if people should just leave her alone, you know, regardless. But I think what just is so incredibly successful with this piece is the vocal performance there, which it's scintillating. We have this na 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 kind of very instant playful tone to the intro part there, or like to the little sort of like instrumental breaks there, and then in the verse sections we are just visceral with the vocal fry. Like it's some of the grittiest, most ruthless, hate-filled, kind of like vitriolic kind of like vocals I've heard in quite a while there. And what's so incredibly effective about it is that it doesn't just go into like growls or shrieks or like the kind of metal stuff, which I like, don't get me wrong, but it does it in a way where it sounds like the person's actually like that to you. It's just so visceral. It sends a shiver down your spine with how aggressive it is. And it shows that not only can Ado sing with tremendous head and chest voice, they're very comfortable in their range, they explore it very neatly, but they can also express themselves in a way that's incredibly effective. It's honestly very unique to have someone be this in control of their vocal technique, was also able to sort of do it this effectively. And it just addresses the subject matter within the song so well that, you know, you could hear it from a mile away and still feel the power behind it. And then in the chorus with the sayonara part there, it's just such a catchy melody there. And then da 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 da, and it's such a satisfying loop, and the track itself actually stops to then start again after it does that, almost to say we're doing it again, we're saying goodbye to the person again. So we're just incredibly adept at not only telling people and making people feel what we think of them, but also creating sort of set, segmented, purposeful vocal lines, melodies, and harmonies there with varying expression just to make a really wonderful song. I'm really impressed by the range that we had here, even though I'm sort of at this point familiar with Ado's work, and it just makes me want to listen to more of her music. Structurally, we have that little sort of like key motif there, and we have the rest of the instruments coming with that kind of part there, and we have verses and choruses and other little kind of like breaks and instrumental parts. You know, we have bridges as well. It's like a contemporarily kind of like structured track there, so there's nothing super out of the ordinary. It's just that each part is impactful, transfers so eloquently, and each thing is so unique that it kind of, you want to listen to every part of it because it's so fresh, you want to hear it again, and you're grateful for when it returns. And so I think that you didn't need to add any additional sort of lead elements to this. It's very rare for that to occur, but the reason I say that it's important is because a lot of the time in music, if there's not enough diversity with the vocal layers, like if there's not enough sort of like exciting new things occurring, you want another lead element to take over and present an alternate perspective. So yeah, Ado doesn't need that here. They're enough on their own. Even if there are other sort of like sub leads, like the like the keys are synths with a really innocent, playful tone, do some really fun parts in different areas. It's just often in unison rhythmically and sort of harmonically with the vocals chanting behind that. So it's cool. It's really neat. In terms of the actual instrumental parts themselves, the drums were really busy this one. There were chord note grooves in some parts, there was double kick in the bridge sections, and it was just super high octane and intense, and it wasn't something I expected. And with the aggression of the vocals, the double kick matched that really neatly, added the kind of high octane angle of it. But then in other points, we had the drums kind of slow down with sort of 16th triplet, sort of hi-hats for a sort of trappy hip-hop-ish kind of tone there, which was just a change of vibe and sort of groove there. Going to halftime, when you've had so much sort of normal and double time, it's just a palate cleanser. But like the quarter note groove was the main sort of fundamental, adding a sort of a dancey feel there, dancing along to telling the person to go away. That quarter note feel, that pulse moving forward, is just really effective here, and you can nod your head to it really effortlessly. And the drums, kick, snare, boots and cats, etc., with a variety of different sort of like fills and other sort of adjustments, as mentioned before. It's enough. The synths there played little melodies and maybe harmonized with the vocals occasionally. There were sort of like playful tones to it, nice cooler responses to the main vocal parts, and they were on the side of the stereo field as well, so they weren't competing for attention in the middle there. It was really wonderful how they go backwards and forwards. It was just easy to follow along to, and it added a nice sort of alternate texture into the mix, which was really appreciated. And it adds a sort of a youthful innocence, or like a playfulness, almost like the mad, like it's they're trying to soften maybe the harshness of it. Maybe, I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's like kind of twisted, and it's kind of a twisted kind of innocence. I think as well the chord progressions on the guitar are kind of like unusual. There's some interesting chords there with some triads there. You'll see me playing a little intro thing at the start. It's not your typical 1, 5, 6, 4 thing, and it's always a plus side. And I appreciate that we're not trying to use traditional chord progressions to sort of help the song to stand out. It doesn't resolve as well. It like never resolves, I don't think. Or I may do at the end, I might have misremembered, but just very rarely, because simply we're not done with the story. The moment you resolve a chord progression, you're basically inferring that the thing is done, and that's not the case here. But of course, we don't have the guitar the entire time. It's simply to add a bit of extra kind of like oomph behind certain parts, such as the hooks there. And the verse part where we're a bit kind of like the vocals are a little bit more sort of like soft and gentle. We're kind of sounding pissed and not wanting to sort of go too far in that direction, but then eventually we just let loose. It's just those little adjustments there. And the distortion of the guitar adds a bit of sizzle and fire to it, which I think is appreciated. I think that there is just thematically, with a thoroughly tight instrumental performance, there's just, so the theme is minor oriented there, which makes sense considering the subject matter, but it's not just minor chords and triads the entire time. There's extensions and there's like chromatics as well for a sense of unease. Some of the melodies that I sing as well as that are played in some of the synth parts are bluesy orientated as well, almost like we're kind of like the blues or something like that. So I think the bluesy minor phrasing there with some unusual kind of like really intriguing chords in the chord progression, or the chorus should I say as well, just kind of like make it even more sort of like stellar. And I think in that Junk Belongs in the Junk Bin please there with the faster double kicks as well, it finishes on like a parallel major, which infers a sense of glory to people being put in the trash bin there. I just mentioned that, and I'm glad that I caught that. And it kind of spirals down with that parallel major. It's almost like we go through the difficulty and the chaos to get to a weird kind of perverted sense of justice there, that in the end is what we need in order to survive. But yeah, we don't stay on an idea too long to sort of overdo it. Ultimately, very interesting harmonically and melodically. Rhythms are phenomenal with the drum kit. Studio production wise, absolutely commercial tier, no complaints at all. Vocals, guitar, keys, synth bass, drums nice and clear in the mix, surround you in the headphones, sometimes symmetrically, sometimes not. There's dynamic range to it. Things aren't the same loudness all the time, which is extremely effective. There's moments where they just completely pause the track to sort of switch things up and keep space, but things are nice and tightly glued without being over compressed. Ado can just sing, so they don't need to be overproduced. They don't need to be polished. It's just a very sort of raw take that is just, got EQ compression, the fundamentals. And there's almost kind of like a vinyl tone to or like a fizzle or a sizzle to the keys at the start, which makes it almost seem like vintage nostalgia, like maybe this is a conversation Ado has had to have in the past. But honestly, nice and loud, without, pumping. I mean, there's a pulse to the chord notes there, but it's not without it being artifacting. But basically, the mastering is absolutely phenomenal. Incredible song. Thankful that I had a chance to listen to it. And cheers. Thank you for watching my review of this track from an ex named Ado titled Rule. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via their various social medias and the YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe. And please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next SB reviews. Spider Hands out.